Hello and welcome to another pastry lesson. Today we're going to be making a white chocolate and raspberry panna cotta, so let's get straight into it. We're going to start with the honeycomb as it takes a long time to cool, so the first thing you want to do is find a deep-sided dish and line that with some greased parchment paper. And then you need to weigh out 125 grams or 4.5 tablespoons of golden syrup, and add to that 250 grams or 1 cup of caster sugar, 45 milliliters or 3 tablespoons of water, and 5 milliliters or 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now boil that together over a medium heat till about 150 degrees centigrade or 302 Fahrenheit. Do not stir, you can swirl it around gently though. Once it reaches temperature, take it off the heat and place it onto a wire rack or a heatproof mat, and you're going to add in 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Do not use baking powder here as it will make it very bitter, and you're just going to whisk for about 30 seconds at most until it's all incorporated. It's a good idea to sieve this before you add it. If you over whisk this at this point, you'll end up with a hard and chewy rather than a light and crispy texture. And be very careful when you add the bicarbonate of soda, as you can see it more than doubles in volume and can bubble over easily, and this stuff is hot. Once whisked, pour into your prepared container and leave to cool fully. I would leave this for at least 3 hours, otherwise it'll be soft and sticky in the centre. Now also included in this recipe is a sour berry fluid gel, which I won't include in this video because I've made a fluid gel before in the milfoil lesson we've already covered, so I'll just put a link to that in the top right hand corner now. Okay, let's move on to the actual panna cotta. So the first thing you want to do is weigh out 6 grams or 2 teaspoons of gelatin powder and hydrate that just with a couple of tablespoons of cold water. You could also use gelatin sheets here, so the process for that would be to submerge your 6 grams of gelatin sheets in cold water, leave to soften for about 5 minutes, squeeze out the excess and then add it directly to the hot cream later. So the next step is to add 10 milliliters or 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract to our white chocolate. So in this glass here I've got 160 milliliters or 0.7 cups of double or heavy cream mixed with 160 milliliters or 0.7 cups of milk, and you can use any milk you like at this point. And we're just going to heat that on the stove over medium until it's just starting to steam. Do not boil this mixture. Remove from the heat, and now I'm just going to take my gelatin mixture and place in the microwave for 20 seconds. This will turn it into a liquid. You don't have to do this step, but I find it helps to incorporate it a little bit easier. And now pour your gelatin mixture into your cream and milk mixture, and then pour all of that hot mixture over your chocolate and vanilla, and then stir well until fully dissolved. And remember, I'll put all the equipment I use and the ingredients in metric and cups in the description below. Once your chocolate is all melted and incorporated into the cream, leave for 30 minutes to cool down a little. Now we're going to pour our mixture into some moulds that I prepared just by stretching tightly some cling film over. You may also know this as saran wrap. And I'm going to fill these about 2/3 of the way up. Once filled, set these in the fridge for about 3 hours or overnight. And now we're just going to make a packet mix of raspberry jelly. No explanation needed here, just follow the instructions, but only use about 75% of the water content. And then leave to cool to room temperature. You don't want to add this hot. Next up, we're just going to thinly slice 2 mint leaves. And carefully cut in half 3 or 4 raspberries. And now we're just going to add a small amount of the jelly mixture to our panna cottas. This is just enough that it's going to stick the raspberries down. If you don't do this step, then your raspberries will float to the top and it won't look as good. And now just arrange 3 raspberry halves in the centre of your panna cotta. And then refrigerate for about 1 hour. It doesn't need to be fully set here, it's just enough to hold the raspberries down. Next up, we're going to add a little bit of that sliced mint, and I'm probably using about 1/4 of a leaf per panna cotta here. Now pour in a bit more of your jelly mixture until the raspberries are just about covered. And again, put these in the fridge for about 3 hours or until set. Next we're going to make a fairly simple but effective white chocolate decoration. So we'll start by melting about a tablespoon of white chocolate, pouring onto a baking paper lined tray, and then we're going to use one of these tooth scrapers and spread all the way across. And then you're just going to take your finger and run it through both sides of the chocolate like this. Once that's done, put them in the freezer for about half an hour to set. And we're finished. Let's plate.